Alrighty then. This week we'll be starting, as usual, we'll be starting off with Naruto. Now this week's showing us the Sasuke Susanoo equipping itself on Naruto's Sage-tailed Beast mode. Now Obito uses the black Orby thingies and turns them into a large sword and shield, which was supposedly used by the Sage of Six Paths to shape the world. Now, Naruto, in each one of Kurama's 9 tails, creates a giant Rasengan and has his comrades each jump into one of the tails, and each one of them gets to don a tailed beast mode, outfit. And then they each get to launch a Rasengan at Obito's shield, allowing Naruto and Sasuke to slash through it and land a big blow on Obito. This results in all of the tail beast chakra coming out of Naruto, and they begin a tug of war to try and remove it from him. Now Gaara and Killer Bee have to assist them because their tail beasts never gave any chakra to Naruto, which is why they're able to he's able to play tug of war with the other ones to begin with. Now the remainder of the Konoha 11, as well as the Shinobi Alliance, all join together to help them pull. Now this causes everyone's chakra to be connected, and they start, connecting up their feelings. Yes, the feelings. Woohoo! Now Obito sees this, and Naruto, through their mind, the chakra connection mind link, starts talking to Obito, who starts imagining what his life would like if he, after the accident that caused him, that made him think he was going to die, if he were to have gone back to the village and attempted to become Hokage, showcasing that he's starting to regret his actions. And Naruto goes up to him and basically says that declares very boldly that he is Obito Uchiha, and that Naruto will remove his mask once and for all. Basically saying that Naruto plans on removing the veil, the mask that Obito has put on to the facade, if you will, of them, that he's put on to fight in this war. Saying that, he really doesn't want to fight in this war. He wants to go back to the village and become Hokage. So, overall, the episode was okay. It was cool. The whole, Kurama fighting with the Susanoo on it was cool. The Konoha 11 using the Rasengans was cool. And the tug of war was alright, but the whole thing with Obito I just didn't really like. So I would say it's an okay episode. On to the next episode anime. Next, I think we shall do I'm just kidding you. Fairy Tail is the next one up on the list. And that was episode 206. The next episode in the filler arc. Now, this episode was called Library Panic. And basically what it's about happens is Lucy learns from her spirit Crux that the Zodiac spirits laid waste to the celestial spirit world, and that for some reason the celestial spirit king has disappeared. Now, did some research in books, a book that was brought by Yukino, and they discovered that the spirits aimed to perform a special ritual known as Liberum, which will grant them complete freedom from their owners. Now Lucy, Yukino, and Levi visit the magic library to search for a globe required for the ritual. But unfortunately, they get attacked by Virgo. Now, meanwhile, reckless Natsu decides to catch a ride with Crux to the celestial spirit world, because he thinks that he can just beat them up and get to return them to normal. Now, he fights Taurus, who basically just beats the living crap out of him until he knocks him so hard that he gets knocked out of the celestial spirit world. And he basically crash lands in the library. And all the while this is going on, Virgo and all them are fighting with Lucy and Levi and to try and get the globe. And just when they thought they were going to get it, Virgo was about to escape with it when Natsu showed up and prevented them from being able to stop Virgo from escaping, and she gets away with the globe. Then you find out at the end of the episode, Levi reveals a big secret, and that is that if they perform this Liberum and get complete freedom, they will, after 12 days, die. Now, we don't know why, but they will. So, I mean, it was a so-so episode, but overall the arc still has some potential. So I'm hoping for some better stuff. But that's about it for Fairy Tail. I mean, not much really else happened. Next is One Piece. Now, this episode's main focus was mainly on two main things happened. The first thing was the beginning of the final round of the tournament, of the Battle at the Coliseum. All the competitors come in and they begin the fight. Now, the fight's kind of this because it's only the beginning of the fight, and Lucy, as we know, is being done by Sabo, is basically running around the ring trying to lure out the fighting fish that has the Marimara no Mi, just so he can take it out and get the fruit right off the bat, whereas the others are trying to prevent him from doing so. The other major thing that happened was Luffy, Zoro, Kinemon, and Viola try to sneak into the Rampart Tower, but Luffy just goes off on his own and just breaks through the front gate and charges through the guards. Now, this is reported to Doflamingo, who gets pissed off to the point of serious head veins showing up because he still thought up until this report that Luffy was fighting in the final round of the tournament as Lucy. And so he's like, what the hell is going on? Now, this episode was okay, but there's some certain things that should be also noted about what. Now, the first thing that was kind of stupid was the fact that, they had that long drawn out scene where they were trying to basically showcase off the new type of fighting fish they were using for the finals, which felt kind of really dragged out and pointless. And of course, but this also they also even slightly dragged out the whole scene where you see showcased Diamante's power of the flag, or the flutter fruit, which makes him a flag man, which seems kind of stupid. Yes, of course, it was nice seeing Sabo fight, but it wasn't really fighting against each other. It was just him running around the ring and knocking out the other or knocking away the fighting fish because none of them had the devil fruit. Now, this episode. Now, I'm not exactly sure if this was the original intent of Oda when he created Diamante, and I don't know if this was exactly as heavily implied in the manga, but for some odd reason, when Diamante, this episode, somehow, I don't know if this was, again, if it wasn't or if it was not the original intent or not, I don't know, but for some reason this episode made Diamante it just screamed out that Diamante is supposed to be Steven Tyler. Like, that confuses me. Like it comes out like he looked like when it's animated, it kind of makes him even look more like makes him look a lot like Steven Tyler, even more so than what the pictures in the manga, and like, you know, him coming out the microphone and like trying to sing, and it's like, wait, Diamante is supposed to be Steven Tyler? Like,
yes.
I just don't even know what to say about that. I mean, it's just odd.
Yeah, it has been known.
Diamante is supposed to be. Is like, is that like? But it just seemed to scream that out in this episode.
Yeah.
You know, and then but overall it was an okay episode. I mean, it was still slow paced as usual. So that just about covers One Piece. Not, you know, One Piece has very slow pacing, so not much really happened. Now on to Sword Art Online 2, episode 17, Excalibur.
Mm-hmm.
What an episode! First, I'm going to overview it. What happens now? This King of the Giants engages in the group in a battle, who is being supported by Freya, who apparently can do a lot of damage in her own right to this guy.
Mm-hmm.
Now he comes back, retaliates with they knock out his first health bar, and he does this powerful ice breath attack that freezes most of the group and sends them back, flying backwards with a powerful stomp of his foot. Now, just as he's about to finish them off, Shinon just hits him with some arrows to distract him,
mm-hmm.
while, you know, Freya's like, oh, look, conveniently in this pile of gold somewhere is our family heirloom, large golden hammer. Look for it.
Uh-huh. Which
is apparently the only way they're going to be able to defeat him. Now, Kirito uses a lightning sword skill to find it. I don't know, like, they just figure, oh, why not give it a shot? Might work. He finds the hammer and gives it to Freya. And it was just hilarious. Like, it was weird and creepy, but awesome at the same time, because Freya immediately turns into Thor. Now, as we all know, which probably is predictable since, you know, Mjolnir, God of Thunder, if Freya's going to use it, it's probably not Freya, it's Thor.
Mm-hmm.
Now everyone is shocked, but nobody's reaction is funnier than Klein's reaction. Now, Thor is enraged because because this King of the Giants stole the hammer, and then Thor helps them fight this guy. Now they manage to overwhelm him before Thor delivers the final blow. Now, as a reward for aiding Thor, Thor grants Klein with Mjolnir, but he's very dissatisfied because he's sad that the girl he wanted to get with was actually a man, and the fact that he doesn't have any hammer skills.
Yep.
So that he's kind of sad. Then they see go through a secret staircase into the bottom of the pyramid, of the dungeon, where Excalibur is. And at first, it looks like Kirito's having trouble, so at first it looks like, oh my god, Kirito's not going to be able to get it out. But then he does. And the dungeon falls apart. Now, as the floor is it's about to break off from the rest of the dungeon, like the floor they're on, about to fall off. Klein's basically beats his chest and is like, I got this, I'm good at jumping. So he tries to jump up. I don't know what he was planning on doing if he were to get up there, but I don't know what. I mean, whatever. And he fails, and everyone's just basically just bashes out on him, like, really? Come on, dude. And then, as they're about to fall into the chasm, they get saved by Tunk, the last remaining creature of that creature species. Now, Kirito feels that Excalibur is too heavy for him to keep, so he decides to throw it down the chasm, forgetting about it. I'm like, alright, whatever. But Shinon's like, you know what? It's about 200 meters. Shoots it with an arrow, which is longer than anyone should be able to hit their target at 200 meters with an arrow, and basically grabs hold of it and brings it back up and gives it to Kirito. Now this is where things get kind of, I guess you'd say, racy, but at the same time funny, because he's like, Kirito, you should use it. But just remember, every time you use it, think of me. And then gives him I think she gives him a peck on the cheek or something. Now, of course, everyone's friggin' pissed off at this. More specifically, Asuna, which that's a whole other issue to begin with. But anyway, then the group observes as the chasm turns back into the lake and the World Tree's roots return to its former, I guess, size and strength, I guess.
Yeah.
And then this also causes new trees to grow, and the place becomes a foresty area again, or like a warm place again.
Devastating the entire ecosystem.
Which just got done getting used to being in the cold. Whatever. Now, this NPC shows up and gave him the mission, says, oh, cool, I'll help you. Thank you. My two sisters also want to thank you, who are also NPCs, yet this Scold, the youngest of the sisters, I think she's the youngest, Scold, apparently catches the eye of Klein, and Klein's wants her, but she's an NPC. She can't. Now, this chick, and so then they decide to let Kirito keep Excalibur as a reward. And then in the real world, they all meet up at the cafe to have a party, and you see them using a device that will convert real-time footage into a pseudo 3D space, virtual space for Yui to have, so that way she can kind of sort of really pretend like she's actually there celebrating with them and having lunch and whatnot, which I thought was kind of cool in a little thing, because I mean, she's their freaking child, so she might as well be there. I mean, that's it's a whole other thing. But overall, it had a lot, everybody. It was honestly this was a friggin' Shinon and Klein episode, and I loved it. There was a lot of laughs. It was a lot it was, even though yes, Kirito saved the day and he got Excalibur, Kirito is the main character and he got Excalibur and he usually gets his focus, but I felt that it had a good focus on Shinon and Klein, and I liked that. The only issue I have is the continuing issue that they still have Asuna being a wimp in compared to her Sword Art Online self when she was a level clearing badass. But that's
I don't know.
But it was still a good episode, I think.
I don't know. I had a lot of mixed feelings about the episode. I didn't. I didn't think it was a good episode particularly. I thought it was kind of underwhelming. Like it again at the beginning of the episode, we were already skipped to the middle of the fight, and it's like, why?
Well, no, we didn't really skip the middle. No, we didn't skip the middle of the fight. The fight just started, and they just went through the fight very quickly.
I mean,
Because they
he already lost. He had already lost like almost the first bar of his health, whereas we
That's
had
because
just
they were
started.
like pounding on him, and then Freya, or Thor disguised as Freya, launches a big attack that knocks out almost the entire first bar.
That's the thing. By the at the very beginning of the episode, he had already almost lost his entire first bar,
and then he
and he loses like 3 of them because of Thor, and then I don't know the whole thing.
No,
with
he only
Thor
had 3,
was,
and then the whole thing with Thor.
It was just
it was kind of stupid.
I mean, yeah, the gender bender thing was kind of funny. That was the only good thing that came from it. I mean, it was just I don't know. I didn't feel the need to involve that much Norse mythology. Did you really have to make an appearance from Thor? I like Thor a lot, but really, it just didn't seem necessary to me. I don't know. Mythology was just kind of I don't know. It was too much. I think.
What?
Oh, I'm just gonna continue what I was saying. I thought the mythology was just too much. It was just I didn't care for it that much. I mean, and the fight ended too quickly. It was supposed to be a big fight, whatever. Freya had her thing, whatever. She wasn't a trap. I mean, she was a trap, but not the kind of trap that we were expecting. But
She was actually a man in disguise, but
she was that kind of trap. But
actually, if you yes, but when you technically look at it, since the character itself is a computerized NPC, technically, or should I say, sorry, by definition, it's not necessary. It's an NPC that fights, but at the same time, when you think about it, since it's virtual reality, when he was disguised as Freya, in terms of the virtual reality world, he was technically female from head to toe, but that's besides the point.
Mm-hmm.
The point is that deep down he was really a man.
Yeah, so...
And not just like a regular-sized man, he was a giant man.
Yeah. So
at first,
I didn't really find the episode that good, to be honest. I did like the second half a little bit. I don't know, I didn't like it that much. I think it was too underwhelming for me.
But then again, as we all know, it was originally intended to be like a very, very, very short, mini arc.
I know, but that's no excuse to make, an underwhelming,
Well, I mean,
thing.
that's one of the reasons why it became underwhelming, was because it was so short.
Well,
You did, and we, sped through it.
You can make a short story, but you can have a proper build-up and a proper ending, a proper conclusion. It's certainly possible. It's just if the authors were going to be lazy enough to make such a short arc and just kind of conclude it so nonchalantly, why didn't they just cut the arc entirely and just focus on what was important,
Well, I mean, we don't even, for all we know, this was just, since we didn't read the light novels, this could have been, just one of the, could be filler, or it could have just been a small story
that
didn't have much to it.
Whatever. Then it's the anime companies being lazy. I mean, even if it's a short story, like I said, it doesn't have to be lazily written.
Well, no.
Which I think it was.
And the original one probably wasn't. If it was in the light novels, it probably wasn't originally written so quickly. But the fact that the animation studio probably took maybe a maybe it was a small, very small, arc in the light novels that should have been, if properly done, might have been 5 episodes, but they compressed it down to like 3 episodes.
Well, maybe. I don't know. I'm not bashing the light novel. I'm bashing the anime here. So.
The animation, the anime, yeah, the anime. Anyway, so I mean, there's not really much else to say. I mean, unfortunately, Sword Art Online doesn't do previews for the next episode. It just tells you what the name of the next episode is, so we have no idea
Right.
what's going to happen in the next episode, and it annoys me
Mm-hmm.
because I want to know,
Yeah.
especially since we're going to go into another new arc.
Right.
And this one's supposed to be good.
Yeah.
So, just about covers
Sword Art Online.
Yep.
And before we cut over to my section, I just want to say one other thing, and that's that I just found out today that Shokugeki no Soma is getting an anime. Let's fucking go. I'll be watching that shit. I'll be covering that shit.
Oh, before we actually move out of it, I forgot. We probably should have mentioned this in the manga section. But hey, for you Attack on Titan fans, there's going to be a crossover between Attack on Titan and Spider-Man.
Oh yeah.
Oh
That's
boy,
weird.
It's weird. Some people think that there might even be other Marvel characters involved in the crossover. Who knows? Probably not.
Probably not.
But the biggest thing that's coming out of this is the fact that this crossover project, is basically putting a lot of hope into people's hearts and minds, because they're declaring, oh my god, this is going to be so great, because it might, this might be the start of manga and anime becoming even more popular in America, and might lead to some, bunch of other good stuff. I mean, there's a long list of things people say might happen.
Maybe.
Of course, there's other people who are like, they don't want that kind of stuff to happen because they're worried that the manga might then be, when the authors of these mangas write their mangas, they might, if it becomes to that point where it becomes as popular as people are hoping it's going to become, because of this, they feel that the mangas might start to become westernized and end up not being good.
They're already westernized.
Well, I mean, yeah, but even more so. And they're also worried that these same people have worries that Hollywood's going to get their hands on it, and we're going to get another Dragon Ball Evolution. Maybe not necessarily Dragon Ball Evolution 2, but I'm like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like other disasters like that.
Yeah.
But who knows? I mean, most likely people are just overreacting and looking too much into it.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, it might, bring a bunch more people on into the anime manga world, but it's probably not going to be that big of a difference.
Mm-hmm. I
mean, as fans, we'll notice it, but on the outside, but people who are on the outside, they won't notice.
Yeah.
Like, if you're not in the community, you're not going to notice that much of a difference.
Right.
But inside the community, you're probably going to notice it. So, that was just a quick note there.
Alright, guys, so my anime this week, as you guys know, it's always Akame Kiru and Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works. I know, like, I only do, like, 2 on average per session, but as you guys know, like, some of my previous ones have been taken off air for a certain amount of time and, or put into the duo section. As you know, I used to do Sword Art Online 2 by myself before Down Italy decided to catch up with the series, and so now we do that together. And, Hunter x Hunter is on hiatus, and JoJo is on hiatus until January, I believe, and Kuroko no Basket is on hiatus as well in terms of anime. So, we'll see them come back, obviously, at some time. And when Bleach comes back, you'll see that here, unless Don decides to continue on in the anime. Otherwise, you'll see it on this part of the anime section, done by myself solely, unless I have a special guest here that
also watches one of the ones I do solo, and you'll also see like Gintama if I catch up with that anytime soon. So let's go right into. Let's start with Fate Stay Night this week because I usually start with Akame Kiru. So in Fate Stay Night, we had a little bit better plot progression than we were getting because we were just kind of on one particular night or two nights of one particular plot line. And so in this episode, we find that Rin has kind of helped Shiro out to where she carried him, presumably, to his house, and we see her leave in the morning once he's woken up. Now, this episode is largely based on character development between Shiro and Saber, as well as a bit from Rin and very slight from Ilya. So we see like Saber go to his school, and they're starting to check out, like, see if like there's any like mana coming from anywhere, like any kind of residual like mana that could be harmful. And while Saber did detect some, it was not like malicious. So then we start to see like this kind of jealousy thing, like permeating through when he tells the sensei, the teacher, and Sakura that she's going to be staying with him, and she's considered an attractive female for the particular series. So they're like, seems like they're kind of jealous and or concerned about Shiro. So they're also staying at his house, which I found pretty interesting and amusing. I really did enjoy like the dialogue they had, and I thought it was pretty funny that they just kind of forced themselves into the apartment without Shiro's permission or anything like that. So, because we kind of understand that Sakura has some type of feelings for Shiro, it seems pretty obvious from episode 1, not to be confused with episode 0, but episode 1 with Shiro's prologue, and we kind of get more reinforcement from that. And then we see a little bit between Shiro and I don't know what the fuck her name is, but the other classmate that kind of had a little bit more dialogue with him than usual, where she seemed kind of awkward with him, and so it seemed like she might have feelings for him too. I don't know. And also we had Shiro with his character development with Saber in terms of interactions. He kind of surprised her a lot with a lot of his answers, where you see, the typical eyes widen in surprise, and we just kind of start to see what kind of a person Shiro has been raised to be from Kiritsugo Emiya. And now, finally, like the last major point I want to touch on is, okay, 2 points, is that Rin is about to fight somebody, and it's presumably Caster because of the methodology of things. And lastly was with Ilya, which I found quite interesting because she states that Shiro can suffer in Kiritsugu's place. Now, as we know from Fate Zero, once again, this may be the last time I reiterate this, that this is going to contain Fate Zero spoilers because this is a continuation. So, if you don't want to be spoiled for Fate Zero, I suggest you go watch that because that's definitely more apt to watch first. Anyway, as we know from Fate Zero, Kiritsugo Emiya was Ilya's father, legitimately, with Irisfield or Irisville or whatever the fuck her name, Irie. I just call her Irie. And we know from the end that he was not allowed to see her again. The Ironsburns would not allow him in. And so what I'm guessing is that the Einsburns did not tell Ilya about that, and they kind of lied to her, saying that Kiritsugu just kind of left on his own and ditched Irie and Ilya, even though we know Irie's, got killed from Kirei, but that's besides the point. So I'm assuming Ilya is blaming Kiritsugu for what happened, uh, not having a father and a mother now. So now she wants some sort of revenge on Shiro, who she knows is Kiritsugu's adopted son because he holds the name Emiya. Well, maybe she doesn't know he's adopted. She might think he's legit too. I don't know. It's not exactly easy to tell from this point because we don't have much from Ilya's side of things. Because back in Fate Zero, she was just very, very small child, and we got like little to nothing from her character before this anime. So we'll have to see. Obviously, no spoilers, please. I have not caught up. I didn't uh, watch the original Fate Stay Night anime or the visual novel, so this is all fresh to me. So overall, I thought it was a good episode. I enjoyed the interactions and the character developments. So, yeah, let's head to Akame ga Kiru now. So, um, so in Akame ga Kiru this week, we mostly dealt with the guards that were also in the assassination squad alongside Akame, and three of the four of them are already dead within one episode. So these guys were masters of kind of shaping their bodies in order to be able to do like superhuman type of things or inhuman type of things rather. But it's not enough because Tegus are OP in this anime and manga. It's very, very OP in the series. So we see a lot from Robic, who is able to use his strings and threads to manipulate his way to victory against two of them, and Akame overpowers the shit out of the other one. And there's still one more who's like the female, looks like a samurai. So that's really the episode is they're going after this minister, and Robic beats two of them, where he's able to trick them into a false sense of security often, and then hits them with surprise attacks. And to me, this is great because this is what really solidifies him as one of the best characters in the anime because he's simply he's kind of like that Shikamaru like Batman type where he preps and prepares and he has intel and then he has these traps that he sets off and it's great. I love that type of character usually, and I think Robic pulls it off pretty well because I really like his Tegu. It's interesting. It's not entirely unique, but it's used in ways that are not often used. And so for that, I do praise the author for that. As you guys know, I don't like certain things the author does. I do like other things, and I think his character, his design is cool. Like I like his appearance. I like his I kind of like his attitude. I like the fact that he has something for an agenda, not the others, because Nagenda really doesn't get any love. So, so that to me the main focus is him because he beats two of them, and he does it so efficiently. Now, Akame beats the crap out of the other one, and he can't hold on to Murasame because he's not compatible with it, and so she kills him. Enough said. And we see Ron or Run. I say Ron, who kind of was collecting data with Murasame, and then he leaves. No fight. He just leaves. And lastly, the other thing I want to kind of focus on is I think Kurome and Wave. Who Kurome was, uh, she's still injured from being hit in her vitals. Even though we know it wouldn't kill her, it still wore her the fuck out, which is good because there had to be some kind of drawback to being hit in vital spots, other than just I got hurt. But she's worn and she's scared shitless of being kicked off the Jaegers for not being able to fight just for a little while. And as she knows she's killed or silenced in some way if she can't fight for the Jaegers anymore. So she tries to pretend that she's fine, but Wave knows the truth, and he comforts her, and that bullshit. But you can see like this kind of interaction between Wave and Kurome, where it's sort of similar-ish to Akame and Tatsumi, but not really, because in some ways you could say Tatsumi looks up to Akame, whereas Kurome um, seems to view Wave more as that a kind of big brother type, and he doesn't really look up to Kurome as much. He kind of sees her more as an equal, maybe even slightly, like a younger sister type that's just very freaking powerful. And like I said, like Tatsumi is more like of in awe of Akame's skills and kind of looks up to her almost as a big sister, kind of like more or less like a twin that's really strong, I guess. Anyway, you can see some parallels, but it's really more or less a new relationship that's kind of being built, and it's interesting, I guess, for the character development that we actually do get from Akame Kiru. It's not bad. So that's the chat, or that's it, chat. That's the episode. I guess it was. I mean, it was cool. I guess. I mean, yeah, okay. It was a good episode because of Robic, and that's really it. He is the one that made this episode what it was. So yeah, that's gonna do it for this section of the podcast for anime.